Hello model citizens! Welcome back to 494 Garage and welcome back to the third part of our Fujimi Garage and Tools remix build. In the first part we did an unboxing with a twist and pre-assembled some of the parts. In the second part we laid down some primers and base coats. In this episode we're going to lay down all the metallic paints and finish the pre-assembly ready for the detail work and final weathering. Some quick appreciation for all of my subscribers, both old and new. Thanks for the support and the comments both on here and on the 494 Garage Instagram. I'll be uploading new modelling content twice a week, so hit that notification bell to make sure you don't miss anything. And next week I'll have a special road trip video from the Southern Expo, so stay tuned in for that. Without any further delays, I'm DS the Plastic Mechanic, this is 494 Garage, and this is the theme song.
We got Ferraris, we got Porsches, we got Lambos, and of course if you want fours, and we got racers, vans and cars. Chevys, JDMs, Mercedes, British bikes, the crazy 80s, and there's so much more at 494 Garage. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Okay, we're straight into the build and we're straight into the tips. If you want to guarantee that your paint is mixed properly when shaking up the bottles, you can add any appropriately sized item with a bit of weight to it to your bottles and it will act as an agitator, just like the ball inside the rattle can. Now in the last episode, I created a roughly 70-30 mix of Liquitex airbrush medium and Vallejo game colour paints to use as the base colours for this build. The Vallejo Metal Layer range I'll use next is specifically designed to work in an airbrush without thinning, but I'm going to dilute it by around 50% anyway, just to see if I can retain the finish and depth of colour and basically get more for my money. The paint I mixed was a little on the thin side and it took a minute or two to dial in the correct air pressure and paint flow to be able to spray a fine mist without creating spider legs or pooling. Even once this was done, I found that while the mix was pretty opaque, the surface coverage seemed to be a bit too thin, and I sprayed the rest of the metals straight from the bottle. I sprayed diluted gunmetal and undiluted aluminium and compared the colours and finishes. The colours were both spot on, but the coverage and overall finish on the undiluted paint was much better. So all the remaining metal colours were sprayed without any dilution. This comparison between diluted and undiluted paints, for me, it confirmed that Vallejo Metal Layer paints do not need any watering down. They sprayed perfectly straight from the bottle and only needed one application to get a surface finish that I was happy with. The paint applied very thinly and there was no potential for losing any moulded details by using it. It also touch dried within a couple of minutes, which was very useful as my homemade painting stand wasn't really cooperating and I needed to hold many of the parts in my hands while spraying them. In all, I used 6 metal layer colours: gunmetal, aluminium, steel, silver, chrome and bright brass. They all had the same characteristics of good opacity and good coverage and quick drying. I'm happy to use these again and see if I can get even better results. Once everything had been fully covered and cured, I used Vallejo metal varnish to seal the surface and provide some protection. This is a really hard wearing varnish that protects from most scratches. With all of the colours and metals base coated and varnished, it was time to start the final assembly. Fortunately for me, and probably for you, just about every piece of this kit just slides together. I continued using the Revell Contactor plastic cement and this caused no problems. It didn't melt the paint, it didn't cause any smudges. I would call it very well behaved. The only part that took a bit of finessing was the desk door. and the only part that took any planning was also the desk. Each shelf needs to be secure before the next can be added, so I had to add all of the shelves in between doing other parts to get the best from my time. Overall, I think this took about half an hour to assemble all the parts, which is not bad considering the part count for this kit. It's a really good, highly recommended kit, but some parts did need additional cleaning up. The holes for the rear wheels of the oil catch can, for example, needed to be enlarged. I don't think this was due to paint overspray. I used a mini drill bit to do this, and I suggest if you don't have any, you get some sooner rather than later, as these are really useful. The front wheels also needed better cleaning in order to fit properly, so I did this with the flat on my blade. A file would have been too large and aggressive for this. Once these were both in place, the rest of the unit just slotted together and glued with no problems. That was the moral of the story for most of this build: slotted and glued with no problems. The rolling toolbox also needed to be drilled out in order for the handle to fit properly. It might be a bit difficult to do this without a mini drill. The handle on the rolling air conditioner doesn't come with any alignment pins, so make sure that it's horizontal before the glue sets. One of the things I'd forgotten to do was polish the metal parts before varnishing them. Vallejo Metal Air paints can be polished to blend the appearance of individual pigments and increase the metallic effect. But I forgot to polish every piece except for the tap on the sink. I did use a cotton bud to polish this piece, and I hope you can see that it did make a huge difference. It's very noticeable in person. Now everything has had its base coat, and you know what? As a first time builder, you get a real sense of achievement at this point. In the next episode, I'm going to mask and detail paint these pieces, add decals and stickers, and do some weathering with washes. If you haven't subscribed, do that now. And if you want notifications, hit the bell too. And until next time, I'm going to leave you with a glimpse of where this kit will finally be going.